Now, knowing you, I know that you're aware of the things that people are saying. You're moving up in two-weight classes. You're the smaller man. Whatever you do, Terence Crawford, don't exchange against them. What do you feel you have to do?
Be myself. I'm 41-0 for a reason.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career.
For more than 20 years, fans believed Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record would never be touched. He was like a ghost in the ring, a defensive wizard who made great fighters look ordinary. But one night changed everything. After Terence Crawford's historic win over Canelo Alvarez, the only man who fought both Floyd and Crawford made a statement that shook boxing to its core. Suddenly, the debate wasn't just about who was better. It was about whether Mayweather's whole era had just been left behind.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight.
The real shock came in the post-fight press conference. Reporters asked Canelo to compare Crawford to Floyd Mayweather. With the world's media watching closely, Canelo didn't hesitate. He gave an answer that no one expected.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
And because Canelo is the only fighter who's faced both men, his words hit like a bombshell. This wasn't just another opinion. It set off a firestorm across boxing. That single line reignited a debate fans had argued about for years. One of the first big voices to react was Stephen A. Smith. He admitted he thought Crawford would stay outside, box smart, and avoid danger against the bigger man. But what happened inside the ring shocked him.
Well, I appreciate Crawford making my prediction come through. Coming into the fight, I had him winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch. And as long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight, he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took some body shots to the liver. Took some headshots. Exchanged. And still ended up winning this fight. I thought from the 8th round on, he just put on a boxing clinic. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Crawford deserved to win the fight.
Smith was amazed that Crawford didn't just survive against Canelo. He stood his ground, traded punches, and showed more than skill, he showed grit. As Smith said, "What I didn't expect was for him to exchange and survive." He even explained that after 9 rounds, he had the fight scored 5-4 for Crawford. But in the last 3 rounds, Crawford took control completely, putting on a boxing clinic. He ate Canelo's shots, fought back, and dominated in moments where most smaller fighters would have folded.
Crawford's a special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior boxer in the ring. He finds a way to win. No matter who he's going up against, no matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was a bad man. He's wonderful. Just a knockout does that. He likes missing you and showing you his skill level superior to yours.
Stephen A. praised Crawford's performance as a masterclass, but still, he wasn't ready to put him above Mayweather. Because in his mind, Floyd was a different kind of master, a phantom in the ring. Crawford was brilliant, but he wasn't that ghost. And this is where Stephen A. Smith drew a line. He reminded fans that Floyd Mayweather was a defensive genius, a fighter whose main goal was to win without taking punishment. With hands that were fragile and often injured later in his career, Floyd couldn't rely on knockout power. This wasn't just talk, it was well documented.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much. And literally walked in the ring and said, I'm gonna embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
Floyd himself admitted that his hands were brittle. Before the Conor McGregor fight, he even said he couldn't spar for a whole month because of the pain.
Floyd Mayweather looks me in my face and he says, I'm gonna take him out about the 8th or 9th round. And I said, your hands are always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're gonna do this? He said, Stephen A., he's a UFC fighter. He said, and he's a striker. He's accustomed to coming at you and throwing punches. What he's not accustomed to doing is punching while he's throwing backwards, while he's moving backwards and pushing you off of him. He says, I'm gonna walk right into him and stay at his chest. He's gonna have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's gonna be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not gonna have any legs. He's gonna be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round. And that is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did. He told me exactly what he was gonna do, and he did it.
He's the man.
Adding more fuel to the controversy, our EPO Ortiz claimed Floyd chose to fight mainly in Las Vegas late in his career. Why? Because it was one of the few places that allowed him to take numbing injections for his hand injuries. It shows how much his strategy was shaped by his physical limits. But even with those limits, Floyd became untouchable.
You hurt your hand? Huh? I thought you hurt your hand. How about so? Okay. All right. Relax, baby. The job is done. All right. Put in a bucket of ice, man. I'll get a bucket of ice. Kill him.
I'm saying Shane hit me with a hell of a shot. Okay. Actually, 2 shots. Oh, okay. But even in that particular round, what I said to Shane was this. I was like,
you dead self said something to him when you grabbed him.
I said, you gotta kill me.
Oh shit. I wasn't ready, bro.
I said that was a good one. I said that was a good one, but you gotta kill me.
Wow.
So you gotta kill me. And did I mean I'm not gonna lie, I meant it.
Trainer Greg Hackett agreed with this view. He explained that the Floyd who fought Canelo was a complete fighter, calm, polished, and unshakable. In his eyes, Crawford's style was more wild, while Floyd's was pure control.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twist. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
Stephen A. added that Crawford proved his chin and toughness against Canelo. But for him, the fact that Crawford needed to show toughness at all was what separated him from Floyd. Floyd's style avoided danger altogether. At that point, many reminded fans of a simple truth. Both men are products of their own time. It's not just about skill, it's about eras. Even Crawford himself admitted it, saying, Floyd was the best fighter of his era. I feel like I'm the best of mine.
I can't say he's capping. Because I don't know what he felt. But when I heard that, what I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe. But I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he been doing and all that, trust me, it's on wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what it gives it that air.
I also think you got to remember when you talking about a Mexican fighter, they big on punishment. He might also feel Crawford punches harder than Floyd and took more chances than Floyd took. Floyd really was super speed that night. Like, everything speed. And it irritated Canelo because Canelo couldn't do what he wanted to do. And he looked nothing like himself. Like I said, I think it was just times where Canelo felt like, damn, I could have had him. With Floyd, I think he felt like paralyzed. Like, damn, I can't catch this motherfucker. He too fast. But with Crawford, I felt like he maybe was saying, damn, I could have, if I would have threw this or if I would have did that. You know what I mean? Because it was times Crawford sat there and caught a punch and countered back. You know what I'm saying? He let Canelo throw. Like, go ahead, throw your shit. He caught that shit, boom, and come right back with the hook. Same shot he caught Earl with. He was touching Canelo with some of that same shit, man. And it was just like, and it was times where Crawford was imposing himself on Canelo. He was stepping to Canelo at times. He didn't do it the whole fight, but I'm just saying it was times he stepped to him. Floyd did too, but Floyd just was so fast, so much faster. And the education was like totally different. Like when Canelo fought Floyd, Canelo was in middle school. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Floyd by that time was already a Harvard graduate. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring and put on masterful performances because he was so superior, skill-wise and defensively. Can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often because you couldn't hit him. That's the difference.
That perspective adds depth to the whole debate. Greatness isn't one straight line, it belongs to the era a fighter dominates. Age also plays a role. Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, pointed out that Floyd was already 36, past his prime, when he faced a young, hungry Canelo. Comparing that version of Floyd to a prime Crawford beating an experienced Canelo isn't completely fair. So the argument isn't really about who's better head-to-head.
He just got something that I want.
And it's not just the title, it's what else?
It's everything. He got everything. And I'm coming to get it.
When you beat him, you'll have everything.
That's right.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo at that, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
are you at the top of your career in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36.
Jordan, we're switching the bat.
Huh?
We're definitely switching our bat.
Oh what you mean? No.
Don't stay with Canelo.
We're going Canelo. If he's saying that, everybody.
Y'all talking about this kid Ryan Garcia. Tank got his followers from kicking Ryan Garcia got his followers from YouTubers. There's a difference. So you want to be a YouTuber or you want to be a fighter? Tank is a fighter.
How did Javante know that my rib got separated while I was in the fight? Or before the fight? How do you think they got the information? You got to pay. Who do you think told me that they paid? So I know how much money it takes to betray Ryan Garcia. I know a little glimpse.
Wasn't by chance. Crawford explained that his camp focused heavily on strength to prepare for Canelo's power. It worked. His achievement puts him in the history books with a unique distinction, one that even Floyd can't claim. But their difference wasn't just in belts, it was in the roads they traveled. Floyd was more than a fighter. He was a businessman, the CEO of his own career. As Max Kellerman explained, once Floyd left the lightweight division, every move was carefully calculated. He picked opponents, timing, and situations that gave him control. For Floyd, risk always had to equal reward.